Hey, my name's Ryan. In this video, I'm going to share with you a case study how I generated 53 real estate leads for a client of mine using Facebook ads. And I've actually got a second case study as well that I'm going to share with you at the end. So what I'm going to do is just walk you through step by step and share with you basically everything, all of the campaign objective, the audience we used, the placements. I'm going to show you the actual ad copy that we used and the landing page. I'm going to go a bit into the thought process that went behind creating the ad copy. And then I'm going to share with you the results that we generated, which you can already kind of see on the screen right now. So if you're an agent or a marketer and you're interested in learning how to run successful real estate lead generation ads yourself, I've put together a program which you can see below the video here that's designed specifically for that purpose to help you successfully create and run lead generation campaigns for your real estate business. So if you're interested in learning more about that, you can click on the link below. But in this video, we're going to be talking about this case study. So let's just dive right into it. So the first thing you do, if you're familiar with Facebook ad campaigns, there's kind of three components that you go through when you create a new campaign. You've got the campaign level, the ad set level, and then the ad level. So what you do is go through each of those three sequentially when you create a new ad campaign. The first thing is the campaign. So what you do here is select your marketing objective. And with this campaign, we chose the conversions objective optimized for leads. Another objective I like to use for real estate lead generation is the lead generation campaign, which allows you to utilize Facebook lead forms. And the second case study I'm going to talk about uses that, so stay tuned for that. But with this campaign, we use conversions. And in terms of naming convention, typically I just name it based on the objective we used and the thing that we're offering. So in this case, we named it conversions, budget tips, PDF. So that's the offer that we're advertising. I'm going to talk more about that in a second as well. So next, we identify the audience that we're targeting to. So the first thing I want to stress about audience targeting is that it's really not that important. And the reason for that is because Facebook over time is going to learn with data who is responding well to your ad, and it's going to start sending it to people who are likely to respond well to it in the future. So even if you don't nail your audience targeting the first time, Facebook's going to learn, optimize. It uses machine learning. It's a lot smarter than you and I. So you don't really have to worry too much about your audience targeting. And the reason I bring this up is because as of March 19th, 2019, Facebook has a new advertising policy for housing-related ads. And this is a result of a lawsuit that has to do with housing discrimination. Basically what they found was that advertisers were using the targeting abilities on Facebook ads to discriminate against certain ages, genders, races, and religions. So basically certain housing opportunities were not being equally presented to certain groups of people. Obviously, this is a big problem, so Facebook has changed their policy. So if you're running housing-related ads, you're no longer able to target based on age, gender. You can't target zip codes, and Facebook also removed a bunch of interests that we're able to target as well. So a lot of people saw this news and they thought that that was going to be the death of real estate ads on Facebook, and that's simply not the case. Since this change has been made, we've tested ads where we include absolutely no targeting at all. So we don't target or specify age, gender, zip code, or any interests at all. We just specify the city that people live in, and the ads perform well anyways, like almost no change. And the reason for that is because we have a good offer, an offer that's relevant to people, and like I said, Facebook's going to optimize over time. So keep that in mind. That being said, with this campaign, we did run this before March 19th, so we were using some of these targeting abilities that we're no longer able to use. First of all, we targeted people who lived in the city that this realtor was based in. We sent it to people who are age 25 or older. Like I said, you're no longer able to specify that, so now it's just going to be 18 or older. We excluded people who had the job title of a real estate agent, real estate broker, and stuff like that. And then we targeted the following interests, pretty broad real estate interests like Trulia, Redfin, Zillow, Homes.com, stuff like that. So it's not entirely clear what interests Facebook removed from the housing ads, but when Facebook shared some examples of how the discriminatory ads were being used, they shared some examples where they were targeting things that were related to people of disabilities or people with like very specific demographic interests or stuff like that. So if you're using just real estate, like broad real estate interests kind of like this, I don't think it's going to be an issue at all. Like I said, we tested completely open targeting and it worked fine. But you can probably get away with using some interests like this anyways. So with this particular campaign, it was a total audience size of about 19,000 people, which is very small. Usually I like to target no less than 40 or 50,000 people, but this campaign ended up working out quite well anyways. So in terms of placements, we advertised on mobile and desktop, but we decided only to do Facebook feeds. A lot of the times I will use all placements, so I'll just have my ads placed on every placement that's available, whether it's Facebook feeds, stories, Instagram, audience network, and then just let Facebook optimize and figure out which one's performing the best. But with this campaign, we decided to use just Facebook feeds. Now, in terms of ad copy, there's kind of 4 different components to a good ad copy, in my opinion, and this is kind of my formula here. So the first thing I like to do is call out or mention your local market by saying something like, hello, or attention Denver homeowners, or whatever city that you're based in. That way, when it appears on your audience's newsfeed, it's something that is clearly local. It might be relevant to them. It might catch their attention. Next, I like to highlight some sort of pain point, problem, or challenge that they're experiencing. And this is kind of the key, is identifying a pain point and then helping them solve that problem. Obviously, it's going to depend on your local market. It's going to depend on the audience that you're trying to target. But this is a big missed opportunity for a lot of advertisers. I see a lot of ads that are kind of self-promotional. They don't provide a lot of value to the audience. And that's really challenging, especially for lead generation, because if you think about it, what the person is doing is making a decision to provide you with their information in exchange for something. So if they're not getting something in exchange of value, something that they're interested in, then they're not going to be interested in providing you with their information. There's no reason for them to. So understand who your audience is, identify a pain point, and then number 3, you want to introduce an offer that you've created that solves that problem. So maybe that's a downloadable or linkable asset. In this case study, I'm going to show you what the ad copy looks like in a second here, but we're advertising an ebook. So that's a downloadable asset. You could also have a linkable asset, so maybe you're linking to like a page on your website or something like that as well. And then lastly, I like to have a very clear call to action. I want my audience to know exactly what action I want them to take. So in this case, it would be download the ebook by clicking this button. Just make sure that that's very clear. So this is the ad copy that we used. I've blurred out some sensitive information here, but you can see we start off by saying, getting ready to sell your city home. So we're calling out that local market. Then we introduce the pain point that they're experiencing. So what improvements can you do to maximize the value without breaking your budget? And the pain point we're addressing here is basically we're in a bit of a buyer's market in this particular city. Homeowners are struggling to maximize the value of their property without having to spend a ton of money on really big renovation projects. So that's their pain point. And then the next line is download 17 improvement tips for under $500 ebook. So we're introducing our offer, which is an ebook, which has tips on how to maximize your property value on a budget. So that's how we're helping them solve that specific problem. And then after that, we have the very clear call to action, download by clicking this link. And you can see that this ad copy, it's pretty sparse, it's pretty short, and honestly, it's really not that well written, but that just goes to show that a good offer kind of trumps anything else, really. So with this ad, we actually had a video, and this is just kind of a snapshot of that video with my client silhouetted out. But basically what the video was him walking toward the camera down the street and basically just kind of explaining what the ad copy says here. So just kind of explaining the offer, the pain point and stuff like that, elaborating on it a little bit. And then at the end he says, click on the link below to get access to that. So first of all, in case you're concerned about creating videos, it really doesn't take like a huge production value to create a good high performing campaign on Facebook. You can use your smartphone. The video quality is perfectly fine. And it seems that people tend to respond quite well to videos compared to images anyways. But if you don't want to create videos, or if you're not comfortable on camera, the second case study in this video here shows you an example where we just used a static image. So stay tuned for that. And then you can see we have a headline which says basically what we're offering, 17 ways to improve property value for under $500. And then there's the download button. So when they click that download button, it's going to open up a landing page. And this is what the landing page looks like. So it's pretty simple. Basically just communicates the same information as was in the ad. And a few tips about your landing page. First of all, just keep it simple. Like sometimes I see people when they have the ability to create these really visually heavy landing pages, they get carried away with it And I mean, when really all you're trying to do is get somebody to provide their information. They don't care too much about how that page looks. They just want to get access to the thing you're offering them. So just keep it simple. Second of all, make sure you have a very clear call to action again, and then have some sort of lead generation mechanism. So you need to have something that allows you to collect their information. Also, once they opt in, how are you going to deliver your offer to them? So in this case, it's a button that they click on. It's going to pop open a form that asks for their name, email, phone number. Once they submit that, it takes them to a thank you page, and on that thank you page, there's a link to download that ebook. So they get instant gratification, and this is made using ClickFunnels, which is a landing page software. So that allows us to collect their information. So that kind of checks off both of those boxes, how to capture their information and how to deliver the offer to them. So these are the results we generated. Obviously, we generated 53 leads. That was over, I think it was basically a month. And the average cost per lead was just under $5 each. So I think we spent a total of about $250, a little bit less than that, in ad spend in order to generate 53 leads. And that's pretty crazy if you think about it, because 53 leads, that's 53 opportunities to speak with potential home sellers in this case. Right now, my clients are converting these leads at about 2%, which is one of every 50 or so. So basically this campaign, this case study represents about one transaction on average for a real estate agent, which for a lot of you is going to be worth $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 in revenue. So on a $250 ad spend, that's like a 20 or 25x return on investment. Like, this is a really great opportunity. If you can set up and run successful Facebook lead generation campaigns, it really is a great opportunity for your business. So a couple other things I'll point out, other metrics that I like to look at when I'm reviewing the performance of my ad campaigns. The first is cost per click. So first of all, if you're in your ad manager looking at your metrics, there's a few different metrics you can look at. One is link clicks, and then there's another one that's called clicks all. And I like to look at link clicks. So those are people who clicked on the link, like clicked onto your download button, your call to action button. The clicks all metric includes link clicks plus other clicks. So like if somebody clicks onto your profile, or if it's like a video and they click on it and it opens up a full screen experience, those are all included in the clicks all metric. So I'm not really interested in that. I'm only interested in seeing how many people click on my call to action button. So that's link clicks. Now, in terms of cost per link click, I like to see less than $1. Link click-through rate, I like to see above 2%. So you can see we're hitting both of those targets here. Cost per click is just below $1, and then the click-through rate is above 3%. So that's pretty good performance right there. And in terms of cost per result, this campaign obviously was just under $5 each. I find that for ebook campaigns, the cost typically is between $4 to $9 per lead on average. Obviously, it kind of depends on the offer and how your ad copy looks and stuff like that, but generally that's kind of the ad cost per lead that we typically see. So case study number 2, I'm not going to go through this one in as much detail. I'm just going to show you kind of the ad copy and the results we got. So you can see that this one is a lot more copy heavy, and this is created for a mortgage broker client of mine. So even if you're not a mortgage broker, this might provide you with some information about what makes up a successful ad campaign. So in this case, we're advertising an ebook again, which is a case study. So the case study is how this family in this city was approved for an extra $85,000 on their mortgage by using a mortgage broker instead of just their regular lender. So again, the ad copy kind of follows that same formula that I showed before, but because we're not using a video in this case, I elaborate a lot more. So that's why the written ad copy is a bit longer. I'm not going to read through it in detail, but basically call out the local market that we're advertising to. We identify a problem, and the problem is that people settle for mortgage lending options that are offered by their own bank. They don't shop around or consider the huge benefits their family's missing out on. So we're generating interest, trying to kind of rub salt in their wound about this potential pain point that they are experiencing, or maybe that they didn't even know they were experiencing. And then it introduces this case study for a client of this mortgage broker and how they were approved. And then in order to learn more information about it, they have to download the ebook to read kind of the full story. So you can pause the video and look through that in more detail. But this is the ad copy. The image, it's a image, first of all, that we have the right to use. You want to make sure that you have permission to use and advertise with this image. It's a nice bright image, high resolution, good colors, not too much text on the image. And then this is a lead generation ad. So when they click on the call to action button, instead of opening up a landing page on another website, it's going to open up a lead form on Facebook. So this is what it looks like. On the left is what they're going to see first. It's going to say, learn how this city's family was able to earn an extra $85,000. Get the ebook by providing your information below. So the interesting thing about Facebook lead forms, and we're asking for their name, email, phone number, is Facebook's going to pre-populate this form with their information if they provided that to Facebook already. So the reason this is good is because it just reduces the barrier that somebody is going to opt in. With the other case study, they have to go to the landing page. So first of all, that landing page might load a little bit slower. And then when they open up that form, they have to manually type in their information to get access to that ebook. In this case, because it's built into Facebook, this lead form, it's going to open up very quickly. It's going to be pre-populated with their information, so they don't have to type it in manually. All they have to do is press a button to submit it. So it just kind of makes that process a lot easier, and it just reduces the likelihood that they're going to kind of back out and decide not to do it. Once they provide their information, they're taken to the thank you page, which is on the right here. And then I cut it off, but right on the bottom there's a button that says download. So that button will allow them instant gratification. They'll be able to download that ebook immediately. So this is kind of the lead generation mechanism that we're using in this case, using a lead generation ad objective instead of a conversion objective. And then in terms of results, this campaign generated, looks like 42 leads at a cost of between $3 to $6. And I know for a fact with this client, he was able to book in-person meetings with, I think, at least 4 people, 4 of these 40 leads, perhaps more at this point. But he was able to achieve that, first of all, with a really good follow-up process. Every time a lead comes in, he was really diligent about following up with the new leads, and he got some really good results from this. So then the other metrics I talked about a couple slides ago, cost per click, I said I liked below $1. So you can see with this campaign, it's above $1. Just slightly, but it is above $1. And then the click-through rate, I liked below 2%, or sorry, above 2%, and these are below 2%. So neither of these are really hitting those two metrics, but you can see that the cost per lead is still pretty good. And the reason for that is because the conversion rate is quite a bit higher. The first case study, I think the conversion rate was about 18%. So 18% of the people who clicked on the landing page converted. With this one, about 25% converted. So there's any number of factors could contribute to that. It could be, the audience, it could be the problem we're solving, it could be our offer, it could be the fact that we're using a lead generation ad compared to a conversion ad. But the fact that we saw a higher conversion rate allowed us to kind of have some flexibility on that cost per click and click-through rate. So that's all I've got for you in this video. I hope you gained some value from this. I hope this was informative. My mission is to help as many realtors as possible generate success using Facebook ads. So if you have any questions at all, I'd be happy to answer them. Feel free to reach out to me on Facebook or email or whatever it is. And like I said, if you're interested in learning more about running Facebook ad campaigns for yourself, there's some more information below. I'll talk to you guys later.